Guys, welcome to the week 12 of 52 update on our road to $57.5 thousand per month that we're going to be adding to our rank and rent agency in the year 2025. Okay. We are, like I said, in week 12 of the year, but we actually started about 8 weeks ago. And if you haven't watched any of our previous videos, we're trying to give a weekly update so you guys can kind of follow along with the journey, see what went right, see what went wrong, sharing our successes, sharing our failures, etc. Really quick, and I know some of you guys that have been watching these videos and following this channel for a long time might get a little bit annoyed at this, but for anybody that doesn't know what we mean when we say digital real estate or rank and rent or website rental, it's all the same thing. What we are doing is we are building simple websites, ranking them on Google, and renting them to local business owners. We are selling leads. We're middlemen. We are the Uber of home service leads. All we are doing is just passing information from one person to another, and we're taking a cut out of the middle. So I think it's the simplest business model on the internet. It's allowed me to escape the rat race, essentially retire. I work every day, but if I wanted to not work, I wouldn't have to. And it's been an amazing business model and blessed my life, Francesca's life, and everybody else. So I get really excited about it. And we want to just share a quick update. So Francesca, let's talk about the week. Let's start with what went wrong. What failures did we have? And then we'll talk about some of the wins that we had. So what failures do we have in week 12? Actually, let's say it. So as of last week, we were only at 14, was it $1,100 per month? No?
Yeah,
We had an
seems right.
excavation deal for $800. We had a $300 gutter installation deal, gutter replacement deal. Last week was a bit of a bit of a bummer because we didn't get any deals. So let's start off. I know the week didn't start off great. Let's hear about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to recollect with the days that exactly did
On
it. What was
Monday,
it,
I think
Monday?
you tried to pitch a deal and you
Yeah.
were pissed off when we got on the call and you're like, I didn't get the deal and all that stuff. So let's talk about
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm remembering it. So Monday pitched a deal. It was the usual. Oh, I need to talk to. We need to discuss it just as two. And I said, well, anyway, I always assume
What niche was this in?
pool cleaning.
Cleaning. So let's give a little more information. So what you talked to one business owner, did you know there was a partner or not?
No, he was, sorry, they were both on. So yes, he had a partner, made sure he was on. He, I think we discussed this last week. I actually did a Zoom, I'm pretty sure just not a Zoom, but a call with him, realized there was a business owner, booked the Zoom, made sure that both of them could do it, did it Monday. Um, there was one business owner that was way more sold than the other one. That's pretty common. And then the one that wasn't very sold was the one that was like, hey, we need to talk to each other like privately, make sure it makes sense with our finances and stuff like that.
Which is
So
it's the most annoying objection ever because it's like, dude, you don't know if you can afford a couple $100 a month. Come on. Like I used to hate when people would do that when I was selling door to door. It's like, gotta check the books. We gotta crunch the numbers. Like, bro, if you can't afford $50, I'm gonna walk out of the house right now. Right? That's when I'm selling alarms. Like, what do you mean you gotta check the finances, check the budget? You know what I mean? So um, by the way, Francesca's being much more politically correct, but one of the people was like young, hungry, excited. The other one was kind of like older guy, mature. He didn't really get the digital marketing stuff. I'm kind of throwing you under the bus here, but that's kind of how it went, right? It was kind of like you got the husband sold, the wife's like, or you got the wife sold, and the husband like kills the deal. Okay, I don't even know the rest of the story. So you got off the call, you couldn't close on the spot. Did you try to overcome the objections? Nothing. Like, how did it end?
yeah, I pretty much got left off that the guy was pretty stern, being like, hey, we need to discuss it. And I knew he was gonna, I don't know how to say this. I don't know if it's because I've done these Zooms before, but I could tell if I kept kind of pushing it, because normally I would say, well, a maybe to me is a no. Like I'm gonna take that as a no and move on. I could just tell that if I did that with that guy specifically, I was gonna get like, okay, because he didn't see the value in what I was giving him. Does that make sense?
I would bet he probably didn't watch the Zoom, the screencast you sent before.
No.
No way did
He
he
told
watch
me
it.
he did,
I bet there's
but
no
he
way because in that Zoom, that Loom, sorry, oh guys, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, before we get on a Zoom call, we send a pre-Zoom screencast, and basically in that screencast, we overcome all the objections and we let them know in a very casual way, but very direct. It's like it's kind of passive, but it's also direct. It's like, hey, we're gonna ask you for a decision at the end of this thing. So I'm guessing he didn't watch it or he didn't pay attention, or he's just one of those like old timers that's like, oh, the rules don't apply to me kind of a guy, which I could see that being the case too, right? Um,
I
yeah.
think
But
that
one thing I'll say this, Kyle does this really well. It's worked for me before. Just for the future. It is very intimidating to say because you're like, who am I to say this? But one thing that does work sometimes, you're like, hey, we're gonna train you this way, like to help you close your clients as well. But like, here's the deal we don't do I want to think about it, it's whatever. I like we're gonna be working with somebody hopefully by the end of the day or tomorrow. We'd like to work with you. So you guys want to talk, no problem. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna I'll put my screen on my camera thing on mute. You put yours on mute. You guys can step in the other room, whatever, talk about it, and then we can hop back on. You can ask me any questions that you have. Kind of bold, kind of scary. And I used to do this, and you can't ask them. You can't be like, well, what do you guys, what do you think about, talking in the other room? They're going to be like, no, we really want to do it private. No, you need to tell them what to do. Okay, here's what's going to happen. I'll meet you in the middle. Okay. You put your camera, your microphone on Zoom. I'll put mine on Zoom. I got to make a call anyway. You guys can step in the other room or stand right there. You guys talk about it for as long as you need. I'll be right here. When you get done, hop on, ask me any questions that you need, and we can figure out if we're doing this or not. Cool, go. Right. I used to do this door to door, and you just have to tell them, you're like, hey, I actually have to make a call anyway. You're like, dude, I'm out there making fake calls on the front porch. I'm like, I'm gonna step out, make a call. You guys talk about it, and I'll be right back. And this is when like nothing else would work. And a handful of times I would go outside and I was like, hey, I would call like one of my buddies. I'm like, hey, I'm pretending to make a call to my manager, hoping I'm getting this deal. And then I'd go back in and they'd be like, all right, well, we talked about it and we're going to do it. They would be so pumped. So that is a strategy you can use. I'm not saying it would have worked because it sounded like this guy was kind of a stickler, but just
no,
for,
that's good. Actually, really good. So
yeah. Okay. So that one you lost. Then what happened? What else? Because there's good news too. Did you lose any more this week?
no,
And by the way, I'm not. Francesca thinks I'm coming at her sometimes. I was actually bragging in my group inside of Digital Landlords. I was like, "How many deals have you guys pitched?" Because yeah, you're going to lose deals, and if you're not losing deals, you're not pitching deals. So I'm actually proud of you for losing deals. I wish you would have closed them all, but anyway. So good job. Let's keep going. What good happened?
so then I didn't close it, and anytime I don't close a deal or anytime something goes badly and it's my fault, I try to make up for it. Like I have to do it. I have to do something good after, or
It's a great
I
habit.
just have to.
That's a great habit to be in.
Yeah. So I started cold calling for a different do you want me to say what niche?
Yeah, of course. I don't care.
Patio covers. And I just started cold calling and that was going terribly too. It was just one of those days that was in nobody was picking up their phone. It was 9 a.m. in the morning. The people answering me were like, no, I don't have time, but send me an email, with the information, which we don't do that. So anyway, kind of took a breather, took a break, and then in the afternoon I started cold calling again because I was like, I know I can cold call, I know I can hook someone, and I hooked someone. And then
For which niche now?
Tuesday,
Are we in plumbing or sorry, swimming or pool?
patio covers,
Back on patio covers? Okay.
patio covers, yes. And then, was it that same afternoon or the day after? I
I
can't remember. But the pool cleaning people came back and said that they want to do a deal.
So you got him.
So I got them. But then the good news is that them saying no at the beginning
Made
made
you
me
go
hook
to
a
work.
business owner that I probably wouldn't have hooked
It's
if
so true,
immediately.
and it's so true. And by the way, great job. Just so you guys know, it was another smaller deal because we have a bunch of these sites that are generating a few leads. We're like, let's go sell them. So I think it was only $300 a month as well, right? So, but great, I'll take $300 all freaking day long. But what I want to say is that's such an important thing to do, guys. If you guys get rejected, you lose a deal. Some people get on their phone and like, I'm gonna take the day off. I'm gonna boohoo. Maybe I'm in the wrong business. Maybe I'm this. Maybe I'm that. Francesca used that like frustration and she just started hitting the phones. It's something that I started doing when I started sales. I remember I'd get those like FU kind of doors, and it would just piss me off. I'm like, who the heck is this guy to tell me FU? And I would literally storm to the next door as fast as I could. And more often than not, not that I would sell the person, but I'd have a really good like pitch, come back later kind of a thing. And it would go really well. And I was like, that's the best thing to do. Don't sit and dwell on it. Just go and make calls. Because the best part about that is like you already lost the deal. And so it's like there's nothing that can be worse than that feeling. So you may as well just use while you're already getting kicked while you're down, just freaking start calling. So great
Yeah.
job on that, by the way. Got somebody hooked, landed a deal for 300 bucks and a month, which puts us at 1,400 bucks a month, which I know you guys are like, you guys are way behind. Yes, we are. But the thing that you guys don't understand is that like our goal is to be by the end of the month at 10,000. It's obvious that we're not going to be at 10,000. However, we have some serious momentum in terms of like our consistency closing deals. Now we just got to get the price up. Now we just got to get like we're getting rid of all these little deals that are just sitting there. Now we're going to get back into our juicy deals and we're going to be off to the races. So I'm not worried at all. We have momentum. We're making offers, etc. But Francesca also has somebody that she's pitching tomorrow, correct?
Yeah.
And tell them the niche.
Free service.
Tree service. Now, a couple things. We're filming this. It's Friday night for me. It's like Friday afternoon for Francesca. Francesca is going to be doing a sales call on a Saturday. Can you believe that? Some of you guys would refuse to even touch anything on Saturday. That's your weekend. That's cool. One of my favorite, by the way, what time's it at?
Morning.
That's the best. The best way to start your weekend, set a sales call. You wake up, you nail it down, you collect money. And then what a better way to start your weekend with freaking fresh money coming in the door. You know what I mean? It's a great
Close
feeling. It's a
it.
great feeling. No pressure. By the way, how many leads have we sent this guy?
This one is a little tricky. I've sent five, but
Is it the same guy we've been sending to?
yeah, but the first three
Or
were like
crap?
the worst people that you would, the worst leads, and it's just unfortunate, like unlucky. There was no way to know.
Fine, fine, no problem. Okay. But the fact of the matter is that you've been on these deals, you've been working them, and by the way, Francesca, God is our witness. Have I helped you with any of these deals?
No,
Far from it. In fact, I'm actually hard to get a hold of.
not too bad lately.
Lately, it's been a bit easier, but the point is she's doing this all on her own. I want to remind everyone, Francesca speaks English as her second language. So all of you that are like, I can't do this because English is my second language. Francesca moved here from Italy. Was it 9 years ago or less? 7 years ago?
Seven.
7 years ago. Francesca didn't have sales experience. In fact, Francesca, hey, do you remember when I first told you should do sales?
Yeah, I laughed.
She laughed. She's like, nah, it's not for me. And now she's freaking, if she doesn't get the deal, she's just pissed.
I still like deep inside, I don't think it's for me, but
You're
I like
crushing it. You're
making
doing awesome.
money.
You're doing amazing, and you're doing really well. So, 3 of the last 4 weeks, we've gotten deals. Now I'm saying we, but it's Francesca. We have a chance of getting another one tomorrow. And guys, if you want to make more money, you got to make more offers. You got to make more offers. And so, like, that's going to put us at 2 offers on the week. So it's like now the game is, and that's what Francesca and I are talking about. Like, how do we get more more chances and more offers, which means we got to set up more campaigns. We got to try different things. And so that's what we're working on right now. But the thing I want you guys to realize is that these little 300, 500, $800 deals, I know you guys are like, I'll take them number one all day. Number two, it's the fact that we're doing them every week. So now it's just about, and also once we rank these, we can bump them up too. So we might be 2 months down the road and we might come on this live and say, hey, we just bumped $1,000. We didn't even get a deal, but our SEO is kicking in and we bumped 3 of our deals up 300 bucks each. We just increased 900 bucks, right? Just because of our SEO. So we're just getting these deals, putting contracts in place and getting that muscle of like making offers in the pipe. So anyway, we got one more week, Francesca. Let's close this deal tomorrow. No pressure. We got one more week. The goal is to try and snag a deal next week at least, which I know we're going to have to get a little more scrappy, but we're going to do it. And that is a wrap for week 12. Anything that I'm missing?
Nope.
I think that's it. I mean, internally, we're all one more thing I do want to mention. one thing that we discussed this week is we have a couple of sites, like a handful of like 5 to 7 sites that we already have. Some of them we have clients on, some of them we don't. But if we can get them ranked more, we can turn the ads down. And if we can get them ranked more, we can start getting more leads and get them sold. And so one thing that we focus on this week is like coming up with some more focused SEO strategy for these specific web properties. The other thing that we did is we created this comprehensive list of all the services in our backyard and went through and we're like, hey, which ones are going to be good for this business model? And let's look at the due diligence and see if we can go into these specific industries in our backyard, because we're like, dude, we're local. We should have a one of everything in our backyard that fits the criteria. So those are two other things that we really did. Maybe other than that, did you do anything else with our VAs in Africa or the Philippines? Any extra new stuff? I think you just had them doing some SEO stuff, right?
It's like what you said, yeah, discuss the SEO. Just I always think the more people you ask, the better of a chance to grab a good idea.
Yep.
Even if you can do it on your own, it's always better to have more people.
And one thing we're doing, guys, is we're going back to the basics. We're going back to the training. We're going back to what we know has worked. And sometimes you, after a couple of years, you start skipping steps. I've been watching my own training for a long time. It sounds a little bit narcissistic, but you get into your own training, you go look at other trainings that you've purchased or that you're part of, and you're like, oh, I forgot about that. And that's a huge thing that I've been missing, right? So these are all things we're just growing this thing, baby, from well, again, from zero. And for those of you that don't know, we're just treating it like we're at zero, but we have our entire book of business is separate, 0 to 57.5. We're only at $1,100, no, at $1,400 per month. Hopefully, landing a deal tomorrow. That's our update. See you guys on the next update next week. Thanks, Francesca.
Bye.
Bye.